What's going on YouTube? Heylow here, bringing you another Total War Warhammer 2 2v2 matchup. So today Wicked and I are going to be playing some Tomb Kings and Bretonia, and we are going to be coming up against the Crooked Moon and the Dread Fleet. So let's dive into the army comps. Alright, so for myself, playing some Tomb Kings, we are going to be having predominantly Skeleton Warriors and Skeleton Spears with King Nikesh's Scorpion Legion. We are going to rock Grand Hierophant Ketep. He is going to be on his Casket of Souls, living it up with the meme dream team. And then in support of that, we're going to have 4 Bone Giants. So these guys are going to be sniping out large targets, going after the high priority goodies, trying to take out artillery pieces, etc. So for Wicked and his Bretonia, we're going to have some Battle Pilgrims all at rank 9. We're going to have some Grail Reliquaries, the Beast Slayers of Bastogne, some Spearmen, the Holy Wardens, and a bunch of peasant bowmen to support with the chaff line and the battle pilgrims. And other than that, we're also going to have a double paladin as well as the Fey Enchantress on foot or floating, because she doesn't actually walk on anything. Anyways, let's jump right into the other team's composition. So in the front, we're going to have a group of Orc Arrow Boys. They're going to be supported by a bunch of Orc Boys with 2 chevrons. In support of that, the Arachnarok Queen going to be making an appearance here. Awesome unit, definitely big beef. We're going to have Skarsnik as well as the Lord. Out on the left flank, there's going to be Orc Boar Biggins and Night Goblin Squig Hoppers. And on the opposite flank, we're going to have Dirkit Squigs as well as some more Orc Boy Biggins. Blah, that is a mouthful. Anyways, onto the Dread Fleet, we're going to have Count Noctilus on his rotting tree ent with the cannons. It's great. Gunnery White, we're going to have 2 Carronade, the Tide of Skjold, Zombie Pirate Gunnery Mob, some Chaff Infantry with Deckhand Mob and Polearm variant, some Depth Guard to support, 3 units of Deck Gunners on the flank. So yeah, definitely going for a nice little wide formation with tons of chaffy staying infantry, some archer support, carronades, etc., some range component, and then a little cavalry to keep the flanks protected. I like it, and it is not bad. But let's dive right in and let's see how it holds up to 4 Bone Giants with the opening salvo, racking half the health off the Orc Arrow Boys. So right off the bat, we're going to be switching targets, and we're going to be focusing down this Arachnarok Queen. DJ Kotap is going to be dropping some good shots in, getting some damage on the Orc Arrow Boys. And right away, the Arachnarok Queen getting absolutely wrecked by these Bone Giants. Meanwhile, the opponent decides to respond, starting to take some carronade shots. He's going to be retaliating against the Bone Giants. But meanwhile, this Arachnarok Queen is taking about 500 health per shot, and is going to be getting absolutely trounced before it can even come close to making it into combat. But carronade shots coming in, going after the Paladin, not the best target, should definitely be focusing the Bone Giants or going after Ketep right off the bat. Fortunately for us, we do have this nice little lip of terrain that makes it a little difficult to hit units that are hiding behind it for the carronade. But Noctilus is going to be coming up, trying to pop some shots in. All of the Deck Gunners and the Orc Arrow Boys going to be starting to drop some shots, but we are going to push down over the crest to get some nice little downhill charges, try and just secure this line so they can't really hit us uphill. Meanwhile, Ketep is going to be popping his Incantation of Cursed Blades and Righteous Smiting on himself and the Bone Giants, getting all that extra range DPS as well as the melee DPS, and with his item, he is adding recharge time for 15 seconds to the enemy's abilities, so it's delaying the WA very heavily. You can see it hasn't popped yet, but meanwhile their ranged components are just trying to drop as many shots in as they can to support the infantry line. Noctilus is getting focused down by the Bone Giants as well, taking an extremely high amount of damage, just getting totally wrecked. Meanwhile, the carronades back here not really having an ideal target, just trying to take shots at what they can. But Ketep over here is going to be reorienting. We begin to see the Orc Boar Biggins coming out of the woods over here, so that's definitely an issue. We don't have anything protecting these Peasant Bowmen at the moment, so this flank right here really, really well executed by our opponent. Going to get some nice juicy recharge. But seeing this, we are going to start retaliating. We're going to pull some spears back. Bone Giants are going to turn about, and they're going to be dropping some real nice shots in pretty quick here. Meanwhile, Noctilus in the back is down to 1600 HP, moves all the way back out of range just to try and stay alive. trying to keep himself away from these absolute beasts of bone giants, just getting all the shots. But over here on the flank, Depth Guard get into combat and are chewing through some of the spearmen at arms. So Katep is trying to get some shots in on them, take them out while they're not in combat. But yeah, these 4 Biggins and the Night Goblin Squig Hopper is doing really good work tying up all these peasant bows. But the double paladins are going to come in here and start doing some good work, and the bone giants are going to be getting some real nice shots in, just plinking out some of those models. Out here, the carronades are doing some decent work, picking up some targets that are unfortunately targeting infantry, so they're not doing the best, but the gunnery wight is there and he's going to be helping pretty substantially. That gunner's getting some good shots into the sides of the beast slayers, and the Ragnarok Queen manages to come back, bringing it back to the fight with 2,000 health. So I'm going to throw in some skeleton spearmen, as well as Wicked's going to throw in some spearmen at arms just to tie it up, try and bog it down with Skarsnik there. And we're going to start trying to focus it down, get these bone giants to deal with everything we had running amok in the back lines with these boy Biggins. Pretty soon here we're going to switch over to the carronades because they haven't been a huge issue, but they are starting to become one. They're starting to pick up some decent kills. There's a lot of ammo left, but Noctilus definitely the priority. If we can take him down, we can focus Skarsnik over here, and at that point it's pretty much game because both factions are going to struggle with leadership once their lords are taken out. So yeah, in the back we still have some Orc Boar Biggins and Night Goblin Squig Hoppers running amok, but we have King Nikesh's Scorpion Legion here to support, and Skarsnik is in the front line with this Ragnarok, just desperately trying to mop up all these spears, and they are getting terrified, but the paladins are going to be coming in, the Footedins, to start picking at the heels and taking it down a leg at a time, which is really good for us. But the Grail Relics are going to be rallying up in the front, supporting some of these battle pilgrims who are doing some really good work tying down all of this infantry. And a Ushabti summon in the back forces my opponent to relocate his deck gunners. Definitely a big boon for us, and Noctilus is still getting dumpstered on. We've wrapped up a nice little blob here, and yeah, at this point, balance of power is starting to tip in our favor. We've pretty much cleaned up everything along our prior formation area. Got most of the units in the backfield all cleaned up, so we're starting to advance. The Ragnarok Queen has been taken care of, and at this point, the Fae is moving in to gank on Skarsnik while he's surrounded by some infantry. And yeah, at this point, we're just trying to push his infantry off. All he really has left is this blob, this little pocket of the coast's infantry, and then we have these deck gunners and some Orc Airboys, the carronades. But we get what's left of our Ushabti into it, and we're just going to start focusing this down and doing tons of damage with our bone giants. You can see already 2 cannons going down right off the bat, and they still have a lot of health left, so that is going to be a really big blow if we can start taking this out. And look at that, another artillery piece down. So yeah, the focus fire here from the bone giants doing devastating work now that they're running low on ammo. So yeah, focusing down Noctilus and focusing down these carronades pretty much going to shut down our opponent's ability to deal with the bone giants, who are essentially at full health with plenty of room for heals. But yeah, in the back line we do have Durkid Squigs trying to come in and mop up some of the peasant bowmen, but one bone giant is out of ammo, so he's going to have Dejavsk cast on him, and he's just going to start stomping around, just kind of kicking over some little squigs, and they are going to be running out of there to try and find a less resilient target. Kotep over here still has some ammo left, and his DJ disc is going to be just popping shots off into the flanks, but the squigs are going to be coming in trying to take him out. But yeah, fortunately for us, that's not going to be happening anytime soon, as he has tons of health left. But yeah, at this point, just trying to burn out the last of our ammo. Noctilus is out here with barely any health left. The carronades have very minimal model count. I believe it's 2 out of both of those carronades are still left alive. And the gunnery wight has been pulled all the way to the back. A little bit of miss micro. He was trying to pull him out so he wasn't getting sniped, and accidentally left him all the way in the back. But yeah, focusing down some of this infantry, getting some really good shots in. Noctilus gets nailed. Oh, and falling apart. A leg down, collapses into nothing. And with that, that's pretty much going to spell defeat for them. We've routed most of the backfield units out to the point where we have secured our lines. We spent all of our bone giant ammunition, and we already have one running amok, charging up into the Tide of Skuld and all these other deckhand mob. and then some skeleton spears, and we're just going to be advancing. Going to start getting into the gunnery mob and these deck gunners, and once that happens, once that ammunition is denied and we're in combat, that's GG. They just don't have the ability to stay mobile with these units. They do pretty much have to stay stationary and fire in that forward arc. So yeah, at this point, mop-up crew coming in. Fey Enchantress barely touched, Katap barely touched. We still have some infantry back here in case anything was to come rallying about and go for some last-minute charges. And the march of the Bone Giants, apparently. Who needs treants when you have giant dudes with bows? But yeah, these guys are awesome. They're not super great by themselves because they just don't seem to kill things fast enough. But they're really good at taking out artillery pieces in mass, and they can do tons of focused fire damage against large targets, as you saw earlier. Just absolutely dumpstering. But yeah, the few pockets of resistance remaining are being wrecked right now by our infantry, and Katep getting some juicy shots in here to this deckhand blob, while the Bone Giant is just wrecking them. Look at that, 400 weapon strength, all that AP and damage output is just being spent on some chaff zombies. But yeah, they are crumbling out, and that is going to be army losses. Gunnery White out there deciding, you know what, everyone's gone, I think I'm going to head for the hills, call it a day, and just kind of fall apart and die. So that's going to be the gist of it. And just flops over. Beautiful. Anyways, guys, that is going to be it for today. Thank you very much for tuning in. I haven't had many uploads recently. I was on a bit of a little break because my new computer was on the way and I was getting a little tired of finicking with my old one, but it is here, it is up and rolling, and it is awesome. So hope you guys enjoyed. Please feel free to drop a comment down below, let me know what you thought, and we will just take a quick look at the kills before we go. So Katep, 136 kills, getting some great shots off, barely using Sandstorm at all, if I even did, just being out of range. But Bone Giants picking up mad chevrons here, awesome work on them. The Chaff did what Chaff does, just held the line. Over here, Wicked, getting some great kills. The Battle Pilgrims with the rank 9 chevrons, racking up lots of kills, doing some really, really good work. Grails just holding the line, keeping these spearmen in the fight. It's just doing an awesome job. Over here for the opponents, Skarsnik, being a little beast, held out for a super long time considering he was just slugging it out in the front lines of our forces. The Night Goblin Squig Herd and Durkit Squigs, as well as the Orc Boar Bigans. These guys were really, really well used for our opponent. Didn't really get many good opportunities with the Arrow Boys. The Orc Boys were doing great, but this right here, the mobility, they did a really, really good job getting into our flanks and just rear charging when we were exposed, getting into all these peasant bowmen. So really, really well played there by Evan. Over here for the coast, Noctilus got some good kills, got kind of focused down at the end there, didn't really get an opportunity to get into the thick of things. Carronade picking up some decent kills. They got kind of ignored at first because he wasn't targeting my Bone Giants, which he probably should have been. So I wasn't really too worried about that. Save that for after I take down the high priority stuff, like the Ragnarok Queen. But deck gunners picked up some good kills. Depth guard here, as usual. When they get into combat, they are just a lawnmower of infantry, and we had a lot of chaff for them to cut through. So 153 kills with 4 chevrons. They did really good work. But yeah, a great game to our opponents, making 4 Bone Giants and rank 9 Battle Pilgrims a thing. Wicked, you're out there, you're watching. Well done, loved it. We got to do it again. But anyways, thanks for watching, guys. Like, subscribe, hit the bell notification, and I will see you guys next time.